Hey there, my friend. This is Paul Hutchings with paulhutchings.net. I hope you're having an awesome day. You're on this video because maybe you want to see my top nuggets from Chapter 3 of The Compound Effect with Darren Hardy. And I just finished up this chapter this morning. So in this video, I just want to take you through some of my favorite nuggets, right? And it starts off with one of the best quotes I think I've ever heard from John Maxwell, where he says, "You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine." And obviously that's a theme all throughout this book, The Compound Effect. But he starts off with this really great metaphor, this story about this wise teacher who was walking along in the forest with the student, and the wise teacher says to the student, he points to this little budding tree, and he says, "See if you can pull this out of the ground." And so the student pulls it out, and the student says, "Well, that was easy, teacher." And then they go to the next one, which is a little bit bigger, right? And the student reaches down and a little bit harder, but you know what? The student gets it out, and the teacher says, "Well done," and they keep walking to these progressively bigger trees. And the student can pull them out until they get to the mighty oak. And then when the teacher asks the student to pull that oak out, the student says, "Impossible," right? And here's what the teacher says. He says, "My son, you have just demonstrated the power that habits will have over your life. The older they are, the bigger they get, the deeper the roots grow, and the harder they are to uproot. Some get so big with roots so deep, you might hesitate to even try." And so, really great metaphor as to how powerful habits are in our lives. And, just an interesting fact, Darren Hardy writes in the book, 95% of everything we feel, think about this. We think that we're in control, right? We know we have the ability to choose things and think whatever we want to think. But here's what he says. He says 95% of everything we feel, think, do, and achieve is the result of a learned habit. Now, that's astounding, isn't it, to think about that? And he shares a story about Larry Bird. Maybe you've heard of Larry Bird, maybe you haven't. He was a pro basketball player back in the 80s for the Boston Celtics. Really amazing at free throws. In the finals when the Lakers are playing the Celtics and Larry Bird goes up to the free throw line, it's like, oh, brother, they're going in. And everyone thinks, Larry's so amazing. But here's an interesting fact that I didn't know about Larry Bird. He would practice 500 free throw shots every morning before school growing up. So interesting to see how that habit blossomed him into one of the oak trees of the NBA, right? Pretty cool. So the question is, how do we install empowering habits? And Darren Hardy in this chapter 3 of The Compound Effect gives us 6 ideas. Number 1, he says, prepare for success. If you're going to be cutting down your carbs so you can trim some pounds, he says, have a replacement, And one thing he says is he says he has protein snacks, maybe little slices of meat or nuts, that he stocks in the house so that when he has that carb craving, he can replace it and eat something good that's not going to give him the carbs. So be prepared, right? That's one thing we can do. The second thing, and this is a great tip, he says think addition instead of subtraction. If we're thinking about the things that we can't do anymore, I can't eat this, I can't do this, all these things that I used to do that now I can't do, it kind of depresses you, right? And it's like, oh man, my life is going to be worse. But he said, think addition. And so if you're going to be cutting some carbs out, instead of thinking what you're cutting out, like, oh man, no more white bread, think about all the things you can add in. The delicious carrot sticks, the luscious broccoli raw, snacks that you can have, the nuts that you can eat, the extra water you can drink. Think about, the things you can do instead of the things that you can't do. And one of the things that I've noticed, and he also talks in chapter 3 about triggers, where you'll be going really well for a while on a discipline, and then something happens and you fall off the wagon. And he said a lot of times that can be caused by triggers. And one of the things that I've noticed in my journey is that as I'm going along really well, sometimes when I fall off the wagon, it's because I'm not doing anything and my mind is not, engaged in something. And so, I just kind of naturally go over to the cupboard and see what kind of chocolate's in there, right? And so if I'm adding things in my day, if I've got things to do, I'm not really thinking about the bad things I can be putting in my body. And that's just another example of thinking addition instead of subtraction. The third one, PDAs rock. And no, we're not talking about public displays of affection, silly. So sorry if we got your hopes up. Public displays of accountability, right? Declare what you're going to do in a Facebook group, on a group mastermind. Be public about it. Say, hey, I'm starting this new habit and I'd like to report back. Can I do that? Can you guys help me stay accountable? And a lot of times that added social pressure might just be what you need to stay consistent with the habit. I know this is day 4 of me doing videos every day, and hopefully you're watching some of these videos on my list or on my YouTube channel. I don't know. I assume some people watch, but that's a public commitment, right? And you can bet that I feel a little bit of pressure, good pressure, to make sure that I stay with that. So this one is really working for me. The next one, find a success buddy, accountability partner. I've got a group of people that I meet with every week, to talk about marketing, and that helps me a lot with my marketing and my business. Competition. Some people are naturally competitive. I know my business partner, Mike Hobbs, is competitive. So, if you can design a competition around the new discipline that you want to install, that can work really well. Celebrate success, right? When you do great things, celebrate yourself, and it could just be simple little things. Like last night I was on a group coaching mastermind, and I had mentioned that since the end of November last year, I have written a blog post every single day, Saturdays, Sundays, 7 days a week, whether I feel like it or not, sick, healthy. Every day I've gotten a blog post out, and I just, told the people on that mastermind, and as I said that, I said, woohoo, way to go, pat myself on the back, right? And that was just celebrating my success, and it encourages me to keep moving forward. So it can be pretty simple. So those are the 6 things he recommends in chapter 3. Just a couple of final golden nuggets. He said 99% of failures and successes all have one thing in common, and that one thing they have in common is both failures and successes. They hate doing the same things over and over and over, but the difference is the successful people do it anyway, right? Whether they hate it or not. And then also, the last piece that's kind of encouraging, he says science shows that patterns of thoughts and actions repeated many times create what's called a neuro signature or brain groove, like a record. This phrase I've also heard used that describes this as neuroplasticity, which means the wiring in our brain can actually be restructured like a record. And so the more we repeat the discipline, our brains actually change, and then those habits and disciplines are easier to stay consistent with over time. So that's exciting that we can change. Isn't that exciting? And so that's the video. These are my top takeaways. Would love for you to comment down below. I'm curious, have you used any of these specific strategies? Have they worked well for you? And do you have any other specific strategies that have helped you cultivate empowering habits? Comment down below, because I know a lot of people, myself included, would love to just hear your ideas and see what's worked for you. And then the last thing, if you are not yet subscribed to my email newsletter, I would encourage you to go to paulhutchings.net and subscribe. I've got a what I call the Freedom Crusaders audio newsletter series, where every single day I send out written content, video content, audio content that's all designed to support anyone who's on the path of the Freedom Crusader, and that's just someone who has a dream, has a vision, has a goal of financial freedom, and wants to be supported in that. That's what I'm here to do. And so, personal development, online marketing, financial literacy, anything and everything that I can do to share with you that can be a benefit to you on your road to freedom. That's what my newsletter and email series is all about. So paulhutchings.net if you'd like to subscribe for that. And with that, thanks so much for watching this video. Get out there, make it a great day. Whatever you do, always go for your dreams. Take care, and bye for now.